The French Revolution. The French Revolution is another major milestone in the democratic setup in the world. What we have discussed earlier, England, we have saw the glorious bloodless revolution. Then we have seen the American War of Independence of 1789. Now we are going to discuss about the French Revolution. The French Revolution is very important because it has brought the concepts of liberty, equality and fraternity. How these are emerged out of the struggle, that we are going to discuss in this lesson. Let us see here. The French Revolution was initially started because it was in 1774. The period was in 1774 AD. Louis XVI became the Emperor of France. Louis XVI became the Emperor of France and he was just 20 years old, very young, and he got married to Austrian princess named Mary Antoinette. Mary Antoinette. So these two got married, and when he was ascending into the throne, he learned that the treasure was completely empty. The reason why he had learned that the treasure was empty was he came to know to do some changes in the court, or in order to have to impact on the tax or to collect more taxes, he need to get the approval of the parliament. So he need to convene the parliament meet and he has to get the approval, then he can improve the taxation. So in order to get the idea of what is the treasury's status, he learned that the status of the treasure was completely empty, because France helped the soldiers in US to fight against their common enemy England, where French is always against England and the US is fighting against England. So French supported the USA people to fight against the England. So this war of 13 colonies against the England was supported by the French people. So they have financially helped them. They have sent their arms, they have sent their military, everybody. So they have spent a lot of money where they are not going to get anything back. So in this process, they have received some setback to their treasury. So this was the key discovery of Louis XVI as soon as he ascended into the throne. Then he need to have the next alternative is to impose taxes and get money in order to maintain the extravagant court and also the other purposes to have the financial recovery of the treasury. He need to immediately put tax. But if you look at the society of France, we have three categories of major divisions. One is the clergy, the first estate, then we have the nobles, the second estate, then we have the third estate people coming under businessmen, officials, peasants, artisans, small peasants, landless laborer, all people come under the third estate. We have the first estate clergy, remembering, or members belonging to the church. The second estates belong to the noble people, and these people are by birth, they have the unique special status that the clergy and the nobles will never have to pay any tax because of their special birth privileges. This makes them to be special, and the entire taxation has to be paid by the third estate people only. So in the parliament, if the bill is approved for the expansion of the taxes, immediately the burden falls on the third estate people, whereas the first estate and the second estate people do not have anything to do here. Then moving on to the next, 60% of the lands are owned by the church and the other rich people, especially the noble community. So we don't collect any tax from them also. And later we have some more taxes collected by the church, that is tithes. The church collects the tithes, 10% of their income as tax, whereas the church collects tithes, state government also collects the tax called as thili, which is also compulsorily to be paid by the third estate people only. So in this process of journey, if now Louis XVI is going to increase the tax, obviously it is going to affect the third estate people to a larger extent, and almost the only third estate people are supposed to pay that one rather than the first estate or the second estate. So now let us see what happened, the ideology of Louis XVI to increase the tax. Did he increase the tax? If he has increased the tax, what was the reaction of the third estate people? What are the other changes? Now, the growing middle class. As we have studied that we have three different estates of people, like the first estate, second estate, and the third estate of people. The third estate people also fall under the category of middle class. But this middle class has turned to be very strong in the economic position because of their some kind of activities which brought them into the economic privileges. The first one was the overseas trade in the 18th century expanded the wings and the market of these people and earned a lot of income for them, which made them to get privilege equal with the rich people and the noble community. And now they started to raise a question, what is the specialty of that people and what we have the difference of ours. Even we own certain amount of privileges because we also are business people, we also have certain kind of income sources for us, whereas they also have income sources. Now the issue was started like that, and later we have the educated community of people like lawyers, administrative officials, teachers. The community who are well educated started to raise a question that why are the special privileges given on the basis of the birth rather than a person should be recognized on the basis of his merit but not by his birth. This went on for a very long debate, and for this we got support from the books written by John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The book name is Two Treatises of Government, questioning that all men are equal and there are no special privileges guaranteed by God to any particular community of people. So why do we have a discrimination in the process of taxation, and why the special privileges are given only for estate 1 and estate 2? And obviously it increases the burden on the people of the third estate. Then moving on to the other book which was written by Montesquieu. The book name is The Spirit of Laws. The Spirit of Laws is nothing but on the basis of the Spirit of Laws, the entire functioning was divided into the administrative wing known as legislature, then we have executing, then we have judiciary. So the entire activities of the government are divided between legislature, executive and judiciary, wherein legislature the laws are formulated for the administration and these are executed by the executive in the administrative process. So these two are related with administration, and if in case we have any contrary views of these two, we can move on to judiciary, whereas judiciary has the powers to review of all these both. So this is mentioned in the Spirit of Laws, which the United States of American government has adopted in its Republican convention and declared American government and set up to be framed on the guidelines of Montesquieu's The Spirit of Laws, and the entire administrative departments were divided into legislature, executive and judiciary. So this has motivated the people of France also to think and realize why the governments are adopting from the books, what they have learned from the books. This motivated the people to start the question of birth versus merit. There should not be any special privilege based on the birth, but it should be only on the considering on the merit of the people. But even then all these movements are going on. This was discussed thoroughly in the saloons, coffee shops. The news items were spread loudly so that even the uneducated people also can read it and can understand it thoroughly and clearly, so that they can also get an idea what is happening around them in the world and what should be understood in the proper perspective. So these all initiated. Finally, Louis XVI decided to expand the taxation. He wanted to impose more taxes on the people in order to maintain the extravagant court and all these things. So he has to call the Estates General meeting. So only the monarch has the authority to call the Estates General meet, so that all the three estates people would send their representatives there and would raise the question and would it passed. So the last meet was held in 1614, but now it was going to be organized by Louis XVI. So what happened in the meet? We'll see now. Now, how did the revolt broke out? It is on 5th of May 1789, finally Louis XVI called for the meet. So the only monarch has the authority to call the meet of Estates General. So he started the meet on 5th of May 1789. So when he decided, all the estates have to send their representatives to the Estates General's meet. The first estate, as we all know, clergy has sent 300 representatives. The second estate, that is nobles, have sent their 300 representatives. And moving on to the third estate, the third estate people have sent 600 people as their representatives, and these people don't have even a place to sit, because first estate 300 were sitting on the left hand side, the right hand side we have the second estate people sitting here, 300 people, total we have 600, and the back of them we have 600 people of the third estate people standing. They don't have even place to sit. And one more reason why these third estate people are very angry was they are not allowed into the meet hall, and they have sent their representation through letters. They have written 40,000 letters, their grievances, their problems and their issues, and these all were carried by the 600 representatives. And now when the actual people who pay tax were these 600 representatives of the third estate, but they were not even given place to sit. Now when the representation was started, and the king was able to follow the regular old pattern of giving voting pattern for them. So in that process we have a custom that the entire first estate will have one vote, the entire second estate will have one vote, the entire third estate will have one vote. Obviously if first two estates will pass, the third estate has to follow that one. But here now the third estate people started to demand for equal voting rights, like they have 300 people, we have 300 people, so we have 600, total we shall have the voting right. Then you can go for the opinion of whether you have to go it or no. But king want to go with the old pattern, so he rejected the view of the third estate people. Now the third estate people started to move out of the venue because their issues were not addressed properly. This all we learned from Rouse's social contract, where he mentions very clearly that equal representation should be given to all people irrespective of their estates, birth or anything. So as the issue went on like this, these people, those who felt depressed, sad and denied, these people went and gathered at a place of tennis court in the Versailles, and that is on the date of 20th of June, where they decided we will frame a constitution for our nation and we will consider ourselves as a national assembly, and we would not recognize or would not pay any taxes which are imposed by the France Queen or King Louis XVI. So when the time passed like this, when the National Assembly was busy in framing the constitution for the nation, the entire middle class community was hit by a bad, severe weather climatic condition of winter, where the crop has failed, and this led to the increase of the cost of the bread to very high, where they have to buy it by standing in lines in the queues, and the bakery shop owners used to squeeze them and used to use these kind of opportunities and increase the cost of the bread according to the situation. This agitated the people and they started to fight with the shops, they started to destroy the shops. The king, who was afraid of these kind of movements, he asked the army to move into the Paris, and people were misunderstood that they are coming to destroy people. So people started to attack the Bastille Palace, and they broke it, as it is considered as their misery's reason, where the people are imprisoned there. They broke the prison and they took out the people outside from there. And later this news spread to all other corners of the villages, and now all the village people heard that the Monarchs are the people who own the lands of the king's representatives and who collect the taxes, who maintains the record of the officials, what the people have taken and how much they have to repay back. The chitu also is a landlord holdings of the places. So Monarchs and the chitus are present in the villages. So people learned that there is going to be army hired by the brigaders or hired by the people of Monarchs, where they are going to crop the people whoever comes to attack them. So these people all gathered and went and attacked the manorial document. They collected the manorial documents after attacking the Chetu and the Manor places, and they destroyed them. They made the landlords to escape from there. They took out all the documents and they burned them alive, so that there would not be any evidence of collection of the taxes. So with the growing dissatisfaction, the people started to block the places of Manor buildings and then the Chetu places. So now the king learned that all the subjects on the landlord started to flow away from one place to another place, and they are searching for their shelterhood. So the king decided that he would agree to give his powers checked by the parliament, and finally on 4th of August 1789 he decided that he is going to become the constitutional monarch, and all the properties of the church, all the properties of the nobles were taken off, and they were also banned on the tithes and the state tax of Thali, which brought an extra income for the state, that is 2 billion livres. So in this process of the French Revolution, now the French got a constitutional monarch. Earlier we have a monarchic style, now we have a parliamentary setup of monarchy, where the people will have their say through parliament of their representatives. They will question the actions of the king. So our Louis XVI accepted this one on 4th of August 1789, and with the confiscation of the properties of the church, tithes and everything, he could be able to get an income of 2 billion livres, which is the currency of the France is livres. So 2 billion livres had become a solid income for them, for the treasury. So now let us see how the changes have happened.